Hi everyone, just another video on June being celebrated as Pride Month, and it's one time of the year that the gay community get to hang out together and be loud and proud and make some noise and enjoy ourselves. And in the last video I did that I sent to you, I told the story of Alan Turing and how love clashed with patriotism and how that patriotism was was treated like dirt because of who Alan Turing loved. And it's a heartbreaking story for me, the Alan Turing story. It always was a heartbreaking story because I could never connect how one that did so much for a nation, so much for the world, and how narrow-mindedness, hate, and homophobia killed the spirit. And decades later, they attempted to whitewash it, issue the apology, and the Queen issued the pardon, and all of that did not bring back the reputation he lost immediately after he served his country so brilliantly. And so today I thought I'd bring you another brilliant story. I hope you enjoy this one. Please remember to like the video and to share it. And this is the uh, very well-known story of an immigrant from Czechoslovakia who did wonders for the sporting industry across the world, and how her bravery um, basically was a blueprint for many to come after her. The year was 1975, September 6 to be exact, in Forest Hills, New York. An 18-year-old girl from Prague had just lost the US Open semifinal. She walked off the court, went to an immigration office in Manhattan, and applied for political asylum. Her family back in Czechoslovakia heard about it on the radio. Her name was Martina Navratilova, and the news said she had defected. It was in the height of defections back in the 70s, where great sportsmen and women from Eastern Europe that became communist Europe. Europe was divided, and they were living in countries where they can't travel without special this and government that, and they are bound to their countries, and if they seek asylum in the United States, they have to defect. They were allowed to participate in international events in the US because those countries still wanted to be a part of the international community. And so a lot of people defected. A lot of people, chess champions, dancers, Baryshnikov from Russia, runners, all of them, a whole heap of them defected during the 70s. So Martina Navratilova went up to the immigration officer and said she wished to apply for asylum, political asylum. The Czech authorities had been pressuring her before she went to New York, monitoring her travel, accusing her of becoming too Americanized because she was popular, she was talking the talk with her broken English. They were limiting her ability to compete as she wanted to. So she had begun to understand that to become the player she believed she could be and to live the life that she knew she was meant to live, she could not go back. Not that time. All the time that she went back, it was just consideration of what her life should be, and now she decided that she could not go back. She left with no guarantee of success. She defected without that. She defected without no sponsor, no home, no certainty of anything except that freedom was worth the cost of everything familiar. But then, after her defection, she went to work. She didn't pause. She didn't seek sympathy. She just went to work. And what followed was one of the most dominant careers in the history of professional sport, certainly in the history of women tennis. Martina Navratilova won 167 singles titles, more than any player, male or female, in the Open era. She won 9 Wimbledon singles championships, 18 Grand Slam titles in total. She transformed women's tennis by bringing an entirely new standard of physical preparation and tactical precision to the game. Training became a science for her, and everything that every player since then have become learned that science. Conditioning became strategy, and opponents were forced to evolve just to keep pace with Martina Navratilova. Off the court, the cost of that honesty was real. In 1981, a newspaper published the story of her relationship with a woman. They published that story without any consideration for how it might affect her. They published that story without any consideration of how it might affect her sport. They published it before she was ready for the world to know. She wasn't hiding. She wasn't sparsing. She was just not ready for the world to know. And in the years that followed, she lived and competed openly as a lesbian at a time when almost no athlete at her level had done so. She did not deny. She did not sparse word. She owned herself. She did not hide. By her own account, she said that her coming out cost her millions of dollars in lost revenue, sports sponsorship. As she later said, nobody said no, but nobody said yes either. She said that when my agent threw my name into meetings on Madison Avenue, the room went silent. But she kept playing, and she kept winning, and she kept speaking, and she kept living her life openly. Martina Navratilova's legacy is not simple, and she would likely be the first to say so. She has spent decades advocating for LGBTQ plus rights, while also becoming a controversial figure in debates about women's sport and transgender inclusion. She has never been easy to categorize, and she has never tried to be, and that perhaps is the most honest thing about Martina Navratilova. Martina did not ask for permission to redefine excellence. She rebuilt herself in a new country, competed at the highest level for 3 decades, and lived visibly in a world that made visibility expensive. Her courage was physical, political, and deeply personal, and often all at once. She left everything at age 18. She walked away from family, from country, from a life that was basically an imprisonment of her soul. And she built something no one could take back. She built a life on her own terms and made it successful, and made it a legacy, and made it a platform that other women like herself could climb on. On this Pride Month, I salute Martina Navratilova. Thank you for listening. God bless you all. Please stay safe and keep the children safe.